So what that equals to is when it comes to the end of the day and it's time for husband-wife time, no one knows or understands. Well, I got to give to my marriage too.
And I think with just the ebbs and flows of life, sometimes it gets really easy for us to minimize a schedule because we don't want to fight with our kids to implement it. But I promise you, early on, if you establish that, then it's easier to.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Relationships Refocused. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Essence.
And today's episode, we talking about kids. We haven't talked about too many kids, haven't had too many kid-focused episodes.
No.
Since we've been doing this, except for when our son made a cameo three episodes ago.
Yeah.
Our son made a cameo. So go check out, I think that's episode like 29 or something like that. Go check it out. Because he's adorable. But really, today we're talking about how to manage your life as a married couple while you got kids.
Yeah.
Sometimes it could be crazy. Sometimes it can be fun, exciting. You never know what's next.
Never know.
But the thing that is most important about this is protecting the marriage covenant union from parenthood. Yeah. That's a crazy way to say it.
Yeah.
But that's what it is.
Yeah. I think it's so important to make sure that we talk about that because kids greatly impact in a wonderful way. Mm-hmm. You know, they impact our lives. And however, the truth is also that it becomes a lot to juggle, to manage. And so you want to make sure that you're showing up for your kids and being a wonderful parent, but you also want to make sure that you're not neglecting your marriage in the process. And so I think we'll have some more, children episodes and how we parent as well. But this is a great time to talk about it because like you said, it's exciting, it's fun, but it has lots of twists and turns. And so you think that you can plan things out. When you're just in a relationship with each other, you can pick up and go, right? Mm-hmm. When you have another person to consider, you have to be more strategic.
Yeah. It changes things.
It does.
It changes things. Well, what used to take 5 minutes to get out the house take 35.
Yeah.
And then you can multiply that by 0.37 for each kid you have. We only got one, so we still at that 1.25 mark. Yeah. on our time. But one of the things that I kind of wanted to kick this off with, I guess a idea or a statement or just a topic in general, is when things can get chaotic, when things can get kind of stressful. We talked about stress a little bit in the last episode, but when things can really get stressful, and how we manage that as a couple. Because when the kids get their schedules going, when the kids get their activities, when they get their learning things and coming to you every 5 seconds, look at this. Hey, Dad, look at this. Hey, Mom, watch this. Hey, look, when they come at you with all of that, especially in the summertime, when they don't have nowhere to go but up under you, it's like, all right, how does that reflect on my marriage? And a lot of times that can reflect negatively. We only have so much of a bucket throughout the day of patience, of stress containers. And even though we love our babies, hey, they still humans too. Yeah. And they can do a number. So what that equals to is when it comes to the end of the day and it's time for husband-wife time, everybody's drained. Yeah. No one knows or understands, hey, I got to give to this as well. I got to give to my marriage too. So how do we protect that? I think one way is protecting it during the day with your kids.
Absolutely.
Hey, go play.
Yeah.
Go do something.
Yeah.
Go do something constructive with your 4-year-old time.
I think sometimes we get afraid of telling our child to go play by themselves. It's okay for them to go and play by themselves. But then when they check back in, you want to play with me? Yes, I'm going to come up there. I'm going to sit down with you. I'm going to play with you. But understanding you're not a bad parent for one of your child to go do some solo playing. And then, you're able to regroup, get yourself together, and if you, like you said, with that bucket, if you disperse it, if you're strategic about what's in that bucket throughout the day, you can try as best as you can to make sure that you're fulfilling The relationship with your child, the relationship with your spouse, as well as the relationship with yourself. Because those moments are vital. I think last episode we talked about, like, if you work a regular job, right? You work a full-time job, you get off work. Sometimes I have to decompress in the car, right? I have to decompress in the car for about 20, 30 minutes so that I can come inside. That's for me to get myself right. And then when I come inside the house, I can show up properly for my family. And so then, you got to leave that stress there, come in, divide the time, give your child some time, give your spouse some time. But it's like, how do you orchestrate that? Like, how do you divide that up? And I think one thing we do pretty well is creating a schedule for your children. One thing I think a lot of the people in our life have always admired about us when it came to parenting was always making sure that we had Noah on a schedule.
We do. Yeah.
Whether it is it's winter, summer, spring, or fall, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, he is on a schedule. He has to be for himself and for us. Because getting Noah in bed by 7, I know is so taboo to some parents. But Noah is in bed by 7.
Yeah. Yes.
That leaves us ample time to connect with each other.
And the importance of connecting with each other goes deep.
Yes.
Because the kid conversation only goes so far. I think in this, it really comes down to how you as the adult manage it. It's one of my favorite scriptures about children is, you spare the rod, you spoil the child. And I always talk about how a lot of times sparing the rod and spoiling the child don't mean you need to beat your kid. It's talking about discipline. Like if you actually put the picture of who carries a rod, shepherds, and then walking with their rods to guide and lead, sometimes poke and pat their herd, their flock a little bit, but guide and lead and bring back with the hook end of the rod. It looks more like discipline.
Absolutely.
And not discipline, but discipline, hey, this is what you need to do. And what's the root word of discipline? Disciple. So it goes deep. But anyway, when we're discipling our kids, that means that we have to be the ones that put structure in place.
Absolutely.
And they need that. And that kind of prevents the chaos from taking place on their end.
Really
but after that, on our end, now it's on us to have some discipline in making sure that we're putting the right things in place to connect with each other.
Absolutely.
There's so many studies that exist that talk about how couples who connect with each other intentionally are much more successful than couples who don't.
Yeah.
Date nights, regular date, whatever regular is for whatever couple, whether it's every other day, whether it's every other week, whether it's whatever it is, their scheduled time. And I mean, the studies are, I could put the study in the show notes, but the studies are stark difference in successful marriages that actually last, marriages that are stable, marriages that are happy, marriages that are, it even goes like to a sexual standpoint, couples that are more sexually attracted to each other. Aside from just that, like, it's crazy how even stuff that, we wouldn't say is important is affected by how we connect with each other and the time and attention that we put on that. So we as parents have to make sure that we're putting that stuff in place.
Absolutely. And I think with just the ebbs and flows of life, sometimes it gets really easy for us to say, just let them do what they want to do, shove a tablet in their face and minimize a schedule because we don't want to fight with our kids to implement it. But I promise you, early on, if you establish that, then it's easier to maintain it as they continue to grow. And they actually enjoy it. They look forward to it. It's healthy for them. So it's beneficial to both of us, right? So sometimes we forget that, like, we want a child to be a child, but our job is to train them. Our job is to teach them discipline. Our job is to create structure and a healthy environment for them. It is a benefit for them to know what's coming next. It's a benefit for them to wake up and like, okay, I need to do this. I need to do this. Okay, it's about to be bedtime. That is a structure in teaching them discipline. And so I think that's a really great aspect that you put in place, or point that you made with that. And like I said, it helps us. It helps us. So from I think one thing that we did from the very beginning was we were like, Noah's not going to sleep with us in a bed. And some parents were like, oh, but, they need to sleep in a bed with us. Those years are precious. They are. I nursed Noah, right? So he was in the bed with us. And then when he turned 1, we said, all right. Not even 1.
He was like 7 months.
Yeah, not even 1. When the doctor was like, he can sleep throughout the night and not be fed. It's time to start doing that. It took 1 week. 1 week.
It was rough.
Oh, it was rough. It was so hard. You know how many nights I wanted to go in there and grab my baby? Throughout that week, go grab my baby because he's crying and he's fussing.
And I'm over here, nope, don't do it. Don't get him. Don't do it.
But it was teaching him that independence, and it was also creating that time for us. We needed sleep so that we could be healthy versions of ourselves for each other and for him. And what happens is we have children and we allow them to dictate our entire life and dictate the entire marriage. And that's not healthy. And so even through that, he was the pillar in, no, he's going to get in that bed. He's going to learn how to sleep by himself. And that's what that is. And then it created for us that time to sleep, rest, connect however we saw fit while he was in bed. And we implemented that and it continued. And it has been quite literally one of the best things we have ever done. There's so many parents that I know that have their children. They cannot get rid of their children, cannot get them out of the bed. And it's killing their sleep. It's killing their connecting time with their spouse. Yeah. And that's something we got out the way super early. Now, does he still try it? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There's been some nights he's a kid. Sometimes we let him do it. Sometimes we allow him to get in the bed with us. But it's not going to be one of those things where it's all the time you're in the bed with us. No. Mommy and daddy need their bed to themselves. And so creating that structure and creating those boundaries and standards with your children is so vital.
I think with them boundaries and standards can come another form of chaos too. Mm-hmm. And that is how kids, and you kind of mentioned it, but that's how kids can naturally try to divide their parents so that they can conquer.
The age old one.
The age old. And it's a natural thing. Like, it's like, bruh, it's our sweet little child straight trying to play us against each other.
It's insane. And you know how, because the one you're talking about is he can come ask you something and then he'll run and ask me. And I'm like, what'd your daddy say? Yeah. I'm like, you lying too? You a sinner? And so
we're born into this. What man say? I'm born into this.
I'm like, I cannot believe my sweet, precious son is lying and manipulating. Where did this come from? Yeah. But us being a united front is so important with it too. And so even if it's something I don't mind him having, but you said no to, we're going back with what daddy said. And vice versa. And so being that united front is also showing your child that mama and daddy are one.
Mm-hmm. And they have to know that.
They have to know that. And I think that sometimes, you even see parents doing that in front of their children. One will say they can have something, other one's not. Well, why not? And they're literally bickering and the child is seeing, oh, I can get in there. Like it's a division that's taking place instead of unity. And unity in the marriage is essential for the child to see early on. And so you're not going to play me.
Yeah.
I ain't not going to play you.
At all.
But yeah.
And that speaks to like the scripture. I know the scripture is talking about like belief and how individuals' beliefs are set up and being equally yoked.
Yeah.
But that principle kind of trickles down to this as well. If you're equally yoked, then you're going to be equally yoked in your beliefs and values in raising your child. So where one parent may have something or they have said something already, it's the other parent's job to back that up. Yeah. And even sometimes like purposely back it up, even when there was no reason to interject or anything. It's important to, hey, what did your, or on the other side, for the other parent to know when to shut up too. everything. Sometimes it's between whatever parent and that child. You know how many times I've had to catch myself from trying to back you up while you were doing something with him in the other room. And it's like, no, she got it. And he need to know that she got it. Not just when I say something.
Because I'll be the one that had that bad. I'll be the one speaking from the other room, like, girl, mind your business. And let them be.
You know? But especially when you try to come and say, no, but dad, but no, mom, no. What your mama say? What your dad? No. And that's it. Yeah. And that's healthy for them too.
Yeah.
Because they know that, dang, my parents are really locked in like that. That's healthy for a child to see that.
Absolutely. Even disagreements. I know sometimes, because with that, like I said, one parent can agree on one thing and the other person is like, no, I don't think that should be the case. Well, there are going to be moments where you're going to probably have intense fellowships with your child present. And so ideally, right, you want to have those conversations behind closed doors, but sometimes you may not even be intending for that conversation to take that turn, right? We all live in this house. And so it's important. And I think you got to be super intentional when you're having these conversations with your child, because you may be trying to learn a new skill and making sure that you're not yelling, making sure that you're, let's say you're in therapy and you're like, okay, listen to hear, not to speak, right? You're learning these things. And so you have an opportunity to practice that in front of your child, but it's healthy for your child to see you two having a conversation, listening, keeping your tone down, hearing each other, making up. Like, this is all a child needs to see those things. And so we want to hide everything behind closed doors. But I think it's important for your child to be able to see that you two can have a conversation, come to a consensus, and just respect each other in that space. And so people fail to realize that you are going to be the first example of a healthy or unhealthy marriage for your child. And at a very young age, they're already seeing that, and you're molding that for them. Yep. So
I think I feel like in our marriage, there's been a couple times where we've kind of got with each other a little bit in front of him. And I think he's seen us be so healthy.
Yeah.
More times than not, he'll jump in.
He will.
He'll jump in and be like, "Stop yelling, mom and dad." Like he doesn't like that. Yes. He doesn't like to see that because he knows. But it's also good for him to see the opposite end. And he knows that we love each other. He knows that we are locked in, like I was just saying, and to see that we can still disagree.
Yeah, we can
still have disagreements. We can still have disagreements about certain things
for sure.
But he's also going to see those values be consistent between the both of us.
Yep.
It's important to see that, and to that, it's also important for him to see the other side too. With us being affectionate towards each other.
Oh Lord, he is always trying to make us kiss.
He is.
Oh my God.
And that's so dope. I remember one of the pastors at our church said this years ago, like 2-3 years ago, but it stuck with me. He was talking about when kids hear their parents doing having sex. And he was telling the parents in the group, he was like, "Nah, y'all don't be ashamed of that. Y'all don't care when they hear us argue. Y'all don't care when they hear us yelling back and forth at each other, so they can hear that
that's
too.
That's real.
Because we all in this house.
Yep.
And as gross as it is for us to hear you gonna get this healthy scar, son. You go get this healthy scar. Because this is my house and
connecting, we're fellowshipping. We're fellowshipping. And he has to know. Thank God that is not the thing with Noah yet. Oh Lord. But no, that is so true. It's so true. And it does scar them because you could talk about it. You could talk to adults now and they're like, I remember one time I hugged my mom and dad, and it is an unhealthy scar, but it's also, it's a healthy scar because it's like, oh, my parents actually love each other.
Yes.
And that's, I think that's beautiful. So I think too often, like you said, we try to create this false perception of what marriage is in front of our children instead of actually allowing them to see what it truly is like being with someone. Yeah. Because some of them may grow up with jaded perspectives of marriage thinking, and they're like, hold on, wait. My mom and daddy never argued. What you mean? Yes, they did. They argued. They disagreed. They just didn't allow you to see them work through it.
Yep.
And so now you have this unhealthy perception thinking that if there's arguments or if there's conflict in the relationship or disagreements or whatever, that it's an unhealthy relationship. That's not true. So it's value in allowing your child to see that we're not always going to agree on everything, but we can be together and we can work through that, even if we don't see eye to eye. It's a benefit in that.
Yep. I think even more too, well, not even, but on top of the benefit of them seeing that and being able to have, like, it's not like we're saying purposely go and make stuff hard for your kid.
No.
Because I think there's a meter that they already gonna have difficult things in life. We're not saying
no.
Go purposely put them through something. No. but seeing regular relationships being regular, normal, healthy relationships being normal and healthy on both ends of the spectrum, and that spectrum being disagreements and agreements. Yeah. It sets that standard for them to be like, for them to have their own normal, healthy relationships when they get older. Yeah. They're normal, healthy relationships when they're at whatever age too.
Yeah, absolutely. How you interact with each other makes the world of a difference on your child. So like we say, when you have those disagreements, you better be mindful of what you're saying, because you're shaping how your child views they should be treating each other in a marriage. Are you verbally abusing your spouse? Are you yelling at them? Are you doing those things? You better be very mindful of that, because you're going to create either a little boy or a little girl who thinks it's okay to be verbally abused, to be physically abused, whatever it may be. You're shaping that in their eyes. And so it's a very clear difference. I want to be very clear on that. It's a very clear difference of having a normal disagreement and also yelling, degrading, demeaning your spouse in front of your child. You think because they're children, they're not intelligent enough to understand. You are shaping their minds to a little girl to think that, a little girl to believe that it's okay for a man to talk to her like that, or a little boy to think that he can degrade and demean a woman. This is what you're raising if you're not very careful about getting some healing yourself. So I want to be very clear on what those disagreements should and should not look like when you're around your children.
Yeah. You remember that time we was at Kona and it was a family of 5. It was husband, wife, and I think they had like 3 little boys. And for whatever reason, the wife was like, I don't know what she was, but she said something so slick to her husband. And I'm like, this before we had kids.
Yeah.
I think we might have been married though. But she said something, and the little 3 boy had to be like 3. Walked right behind her and said the same thing that she just said, same disrespectful thing she just said to her husband. He said it to his daddy. And I said, I looked at Essence, I said, you better not ever think like that's not cool. That's not a good example for the boy at all. For his man. I remember my dad gave me this book of like just sayings and quotes and stuff when I was a kid. And one of the things was one of the things it said for women, it said women never marry a man that doesn't or like a weak man in a marriage. Like never like that is trampled over in his marriage.
Right.
And I think what it was saying was like, daughter, if you're gonna marry a man that comes from that, you setting yourself up for poor leadership.
Absolutely.
In your own marriage.
Yeah.
So I was like, come on.
No, seriously. No, seriously. I get disturbed when I hear how children talk to their parents. Mm-hmm. But they learned it somewhere. They learned it somewhere. And we're not going to always blame it on the TV. We can't blame it on the TV. They've seen your interactions with people, so they believe that behavior is okay. And so now you're trying to correct them and not correct yourself. And so now we got kids that's like, oh, but you doing it, but I'm grown. No, 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 no. Just because you grown does not mean you can act the way you act and then tell your child not to. It's kind of crazy when we see those type of things, but I've seen and I've heard some of the things that come out of children's mouths, and I'm just disheartened because they learned it somewhere. And so in order to be a healthy parent, it's so important to make sure that you are becoming healthy yourself. Now, there's no manual, right? We make mistakes. We slip up when it comes to raising a child because we're very human. And so there's going to be some traumas. And I know people don't want to hear this. There's going to be some traumas that you so unintentionally.
It's going to happen.
It's that you cause your child to have. And you don't want to. It's because you're just not a perfect person. None of us are perfect. So it's like, what trauma am I creating around my child? I'm so hyper vigilant with it, but it's like,
it's going to happen.
It's going to be something. It may not even be something about your mouth. It might not even be from that.
It probably won't be.
Yeah. You may be showing your child laziness. If you're lazy, you may be showing your child short-tempered because you don't know how to control yourself. There's a variety of different things that you could unintentionally traumatize your child with. And I'm just so sad about that because it's like, am I going to be in therapy with my child one day?
Let's hope so.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we can work through it in a healthy manner. But yeah, I find that so sad.
Yeah, it is.
It's like sad. It's like, I love him so much. I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that I'm not. But
even that, it's still going to happen. I have one more thing I wanted to bring up around this.
Yeah.
Is having a Christ-centered, focused home. Mm-hmm. Like living with true examples in what a spiritual relationship with our Father looks like. Not only is it healthy for mom and dad mm-hmm. to be worshiping together, praying together, but it's also healthy for the child to see that example being set.
Absolutely.
Not just the example being set, but having the Holy Spirit in and working in the family unit and seeing it working in the parental unit, mm-hmm. the marriage unit as well. From whatever it may, maybe it's prayer, mm-hmm. praying together. Maybe it's having some little praise and worship sessions, mm-hmm. whether it be some kid praise and worship, whether it be like adult focused, absolutely. Whatever it may be. But there needs to be a Christ-centered, overt Christ-centered example and presence in the home. Mm-hmm. Because if we don't have the Holy Spirit in and around this thing, then what are we doing? Yeah. Like what are we doing? We're just going off of the wisdom of what some people just have figured out. And there's wisdom in that.
Absolutely.
But there's not the ultimate wisdom. Yeah. There's not the ultimate the ultimate wisdom that only the Holy Spirit can give.
Yeah. I feel like we're not truly parenting properly if we're not including the Holy Spirit. If we're not praying for our child in our parenting, then we're not truly doing what we need to do with that. Our job is to train a child in the way in which they should go. And in that, it's not going to always be beautiful in the training, right? But it's our responsibility to introduce Jesus to our babies. And it can't just be going to church, but it's your daily activities. It's in your private time. Do they see you reading your word? Do they see you praying to Christ? Do they hear your conversations? Are they Christ-centered? All those things make the world of a difference in how you are shaping your child and their mentality when it comes to being holy individuals, right? Mm-hmm. And so there's certain things that, there's an innocence about Noah that people just love because we're not exposing him to all those things that are not Christ-like. And so we want to make sure that we're having that strong foundation first of what Christ looks like, who Christ is, and how it should be reflected, how Christ should be reflected through him. We're in this world where it's going to taint them. It's going to try its best to, but we want to make sure that they have that strong and healthy foundation. And so include Christ in your parenting. You have to. You have to. If you truly love Jesus and you live for him, he should be all up and through how you parent.
I like that, all up and through.
All up and through there. Are you patient with your child? Are you kind with your child? Do they see you exude those fruits of the Spirit in your home, amongst your peers, not just in church? You have to have the fruits of the Spirit, not just with others, but in your parenting as well. So yes, I agree wholeheartedly. That strong foundation with Christ is what makes the world of a difference. And so if you're not including the Lord in your parenting, we got some problems.
Get with it, chop, chop.
Get with it quickly.
Well, I ain't had nothing else. You got?
No, that's all I have. And we'll have more episodes just discussing parenting and some of the things that we have decided to do, not decided to do with our child, and how we just want to make the biggest impact on his life before we allow the culture to try to influence anything else that he's doing. But if you're interested in hearing some more of those parenting tips that we have and just tactics that we've used to help train our child, let us know in the comments. We'd love to provide more.
Yep. And if you like this episode, we talked a little bit about stress. We talked a little bit about figuring things out with our kids. We got another episode around that. You can check it up right here on the screen. I'm gonna put it in the middle. You can check that out right here. And yeah, that's all. Yeah. That's all I got.
In the meantime, in between time, stay focused and nurture the relationships that God has gifted you with.
Peace.